Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are staying safe. Today we are going to talk about what are the 7 principles of Prince2 methodology. Let's discuss. Earlier I discussed on a couple of integrated elements of Prince2 methodology. Right? So one of the element which is called 7 principles. When I say principles, these are general set of best practices which helps you to implement certain elements, right? So those three integrated elements which we talk in earlier sessions, so those also can be you can implement using this 7 principles of methodology. If one of the principles, if you don't follow it, I don't think the project will consider as or fall under a Prince2 project, right? So always think like how this governance will help you to perform better, and what are the different practices which you can follow at all the times. It's like a project bill of rights, right? So let's spend some more time on understanding of how these 7 principles match up with specific practices which any projects under Prince2 methodology follows. 1. Continued business justification. In this principle, what Prince2 specifically address here is any Prince2 project should have one or more valid business justifications or reasons before you begin with it. And those justifications should carry through complete duration of your project. And each justification has to be written in document which has to be approved certainly by your key stakeholders, isn't it? So this principle mainly why they introduced is to ensure that the project is actually a worthwhile use of your organization time and money. The project's business purpose and your ROI, return on investment, these are the one initially evaluated before any project begins. Because when no resources are yet to committed to carrying out, and these are the two aspects should be addressed first. And once the evaluation continues throughout the project, just to make sure that you are still around, you understand what is the sound business reasons for developing any product or service. So this keeps projects from taking their own momentum once the initial commitment is made, where no one wants to speak up, or they don't want to point out any project flaws, or they don't want to acknowledge any situation which has changed. The project is no longer viable, right? So if at any time the business justification for that project is no longer exist, I think better to stop that project. So what typically Prince2 principles specifically mentions, stopping a project that it has its own business justification will be lost, and maybe you consider as a positive action, but it should be rewarded, isn't it? So every time what happens, a few very large organizations, they have unlimited time and resources so that they can devote to a lot of projects, but unfortunately they can't deliver any specific ROI, right? So many organizations or companies, they need to concentrate on their energies where they will be doing most good, right? So it's all about how you understand the continuous monitoring of your business case document, and see how do we bring out the proper justification which is carried out by you as a project manager throughout the program. 2. Learn from experience. In this principle, what Prince2 methodology advocates us, it requires all the project team members to learn from your past experience, or maybe from your previous projects, or from earlier stages of any existing project. It's all about lessons learned. Yes. So lessons learned has to be recorded in a specific sheet or an Excel or a log, it has to be created specifically for this purpose, and consulted when any questions are asked by anyone. Understand one thing, learning from experience takes place at very beginning of a project, and using those sheets or logs from the previous projects will help. Learning, it continues throughout the process using any of those lessons from existing project or a previous projects. The goal is mainly for you to continually learning and improving during the entire time of the project. Afterward, what happens, any project log becomes a part of your organization record, so that any future project teams, they can consult it and learn from it. So the learn from experience principle mainly focus on if a project team has never worked on the project like this one before, and any project you consider, because as I mentioned earlier, all the projects are unique, right? So uniqueness always produce some element of risk due to its unknown activities. So learn from experience is a very important risk management tool, just to help you to reduce those unknowns to how do we certainly reduce to minimum. So if an organization has no previous experience with this type of project being taken, I think you need to document all the lessons learned during the course of the project, which is very important in just to ensure that you don't leave a record for any future sort of projects, if this fall under this same type of category, right? So this is one example, and it also governs, helps in certain processes. For example, to starting up a project process, you wanted to review certain aspects, and as the project progress happens, all the lessons you can document it and make it in a proper log report, right? So there is a lot of focus areas will help you to understand this principle much better way. 3, define roles and responsibilities. Ideally, what this principle talks about, by clearly defining roles and responsibilities, if you fall under Prince2 methodology, just to ensure all the stakeholders for your project knows what to expect from other team members and what others expect out of them. As simple as that. And this has typically, when I say roles, you have a business stakeholders, you have a users, and you have a suppliers. Business stakeholders who agree with your project's purpose, because they're talking as a whole for the company, and they could be a senior management or an investor or very concerned with some of the project's ROI, because their intention is the money has been properly, thoroughly being invested. That is what they call as business stakeholders. Users who will benefit from the project by using your end projects or service which is hands-on. Suppliers, they are the one who provide some of the expertise in certain areas. Sometimes they provide the materials for your project which has to be completed. It can be internal or external to your company. And the roles and responsibilities, which is the principle of Prince2, which is very effective to handle these 3 stakeholders within any of your project management team. And if you remember, one of the 5 characteristics of a project, which is called cross functionality, which I spoke in the previous video, right? So those team members has to come to work on the project from different backgrounds, different management approaches. They have different priorities, interests, etc., right? So every team members, they have to be brought together from separate departments to form a temporary project team, just to ensure that they will work on this project and they deliver the product. So therefore, every project will have its own clearly named project management team and their own structure of roles and responsibilities for all the team members which are part of the project, and they must be agree on it. And it's very important for your company. 4, manage by stages. What this principle mainly address here is every project they wanted to divide into management stages. Each stage is planned with only as much detail as can be managed and foreseen. So end of each stage, it serves as a control point where your project status can be evaluated before the next stage. So if you are a project manager, you review the business case and the project plan just to ensure that the project is on track. At the same time, what happens, your review has to be reported to your senior management before the decision is made to go forward, or maybe they wanted to stop the project. So managing by stages will solve 2 potential problems. One, your planning horizon, because what happens, the uncertainty sometimes of having a detailed plans, you need to stretch forward, sometimes it's waste of time, correct? So this brings to what happens, it address the issue of calling out for a short term plan. Sometimes you call it as a stage plan, which mainly helps to understand what is your current stage. The second possible issue is to give your project board some control over the process without imposing any time or burdens, right? So because the more stages any project has, you need to have more control points, and the stakeholders should also have the same, because multiple stages will give you the project board just to ensure that the project takes up their own time, and it takes its own time, isn't it? So with management by stages as a principle, these two outcomes can be deliberately adjusted depending on your complexity or risk or importance of the project. So you need to be very clear how this managed by stages principle will govern, and how this will help you to progress your project. 5, manage by exception. In this principle, what typically Prince2 address here, it just wants to understand how far the project can stray from any of those 6 variables which I told in the earlier video, right? I mean, you can go and watch the previous video on the performance targets of those 6 variables. And these limits, typically they call it as a tolerance. So any variable that exceeds the tolerance, they call it as an exception, right? In the Prince terminology, Prince2 terminology. So when an exception occurs, it automatically triggers an escalation of those any issues to your senior management teams, right? So management by exception will ensure that it clears to set out certain boundaries for accountability at each level of management, whoever managing or controlling the project. And issues, anything happen within that tolerance levels, which has to be handled by you as a project manager, so that you are not wasting the project management board's time and all. So any exceptions, you refer them as a chain of command, so that any high level team or high level management can stay informed, and they can make critical decisions, and they can retain control over the project. So these tolerance needs to be very clearly defined on those 6 variables that you already aware, which is like a cost, time, quality, scope, risk, and benefit, right? So I think it's very important to address and understand how these 6 performance target variables can be help you to determine the status of your project. 6, this principle is all about focus on products. Typically what it emphasizes here, they just wanted to understand each activity, whatever is accounted, are they really focusing on products or not? If a project output, whatever you call it as, it's end result has to be on delivering the product, right? Whatever you agreed based on your business case at the beginning of the project. So every single activity during the course of the project, the end goal is to ensure that are we producing a set of end products which has to be defined in your projects, and the standards and the stakeholder requirements has to be met. So once you define this detailed product description, what is the purpose, why are we constructing it, what is the quality requirements, and if you are very clear beginning from the project, I think all the planning has to be done with a clear picture of what is the output that you are looking for, and what is the stakeholders that are expecting from the project in terms of benefits, what you define in your business case. So all the estimates from time to time you need to be clear, and what is the cost associated, what is the work schedules associated with this product. So everything has to be mapped from the project endpoint. So this mainly helps you to understand how products are specifically defined and delivered, whatever mentioned in your project plan. The last one, this principle is all about how do we tailor ourselves to suit the project environment. Understand one thing, Prince2 is very high versatile project management approach. which you can apply it in many types of projects, whether it will be in a size or nature of the project. It's an excellent approach where you can adapt it. So in many types of companies, it can be same country or different country, this principle will help you to make you so versatile. Depends on whether the project is a large or a small, a complex or a simple, or do you have enough resources, you don't have resources, the level of risks, everything will be adjusted to that environment, right? So for example, you have a need for frequent reporting at a high level, just to depends on the environment, whatever the project is being developed. A simple project in a small company where you as a stakeholders can see each other face day by day, and you need to have a simple checklist to document, just to understand how do we handle these certain exceptions, right? So the other aspect of tailoring, what I'm talking about here, is understand the business environment, right? So take an advantage of all the resources which are already there in the place, and you as a departments has to be so accountable, and you need to collaboratively work together to ensure to work with your organization vision. When I say tailoring also, it's not like a robotic fashion of doing the same way of all the project. It's a heroic approach, not using the project management methodology, but you need to understand how do we ensure that we don't make the same mistakes made over and over and again. So the tailoring mainly meant for your project initiation documentation, which is written earlier and approved and reviewed by all the stakeholders and the members of your project board, and it has to suit to your a certain environment, the way how you manage within the project. So which is very very important aspect. This principle also very very important to help you to carry out all the tailoring elements within your end-to-end programs. Just to conclude my final thoughts around these 7 principles, I hope you understand the competitive environment every company that are working and searching for many concepts and methodologies. They wanted to produce certain value or output to the goods or services or a product is just to ensure that they have to go with like faster time to market and with less less rate of failure or a zero failure and few overheads, but high quality and costs are very less, just to make high profits. I think every project should fall under these 7 principles, will help you to get an excellent results in every scenario the way you handle it. I hope this helps. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for listening, and thank you.